Hey everyone. On this episode of the Zennerational Perspective, I was joined by Chris Mowrey. He's a TikTok influencer known for posting political commentary from the perspective of a Biden supporter. But this episode is not about politics. I think it's important to humanize the people we see on our screens because at the end of the day, they're people too. Chris and his friend Harry receive a lot of raw hatred for their views, and they are known infamously from their appearance on the Tim Dillon Show. In this episode, I just have a real conversation with Chris. Nothing political, just two dudes talking about life and how we both navigated. If you like what you heard or saw, please be sure to subscribe to hear more about new episodes. Hope you enjoy. All right, so Chris, tell me a little bit about how you got started doing this.
Yeah, so it was last October, so it's been about a year now, like almost exactly a year. Um, I used to post my videos on Instagram, but to like a private story. So it was just like to like some friends, like some 900 friends or something, and I'd post them like every day, just ranting about politics or whatever. And then one day last October, I really didn't have much to do. I was kind of down in life, and I just turned on the camera one day. I was bored, to be honest. And I posted my first video, and I was like, I should try posting every day. And
Mm-hmm.
very quickly, it just kind of turned into something I didn't expect. So,
Yeah, man. Yeah, so you posted it. Like, do you remember what video like first went viral?
so my first video did pretty well. It got a couple thousand. In terms of my first viral, I think so. Within 2 weeks, this is so crazy. So within 2 weeks, I was at 10K.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then there was a specific moment over the next, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks later, in terms of the midterms in Georgia, the midterm elections. I posted a video that really like did really well. Got like 100K likes,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a lot of DMs about it. And then the morning after the midterm elections, I posted a video about Gen Z that like really blew up. It did like a million views, and that's really like what like was the takeoff. People are talking about you on Twitter. You should hop on Twitter, and then yeah. So I'd say like literally right after the midterms, I set my camera down in my bathroom and I screamed about whatever I screamed about, and that was that.
Damn, man. Do you like find that like does it feel like a fever dream to you? Like what does it feel like?
Yeah, I mean it's a fever. Like seriously, it is. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think like I still can't comprehend it. Especially like I tell people how quickly life can change. Like at the time I started, school's never really been for me. And I think like a lot of young people feel that. Like I'm passionate about a lot. I'll work hard, whatever. But school, it's like I just struggle to show up. I struggle to do well. I struggle to just find motivation in it. So at the time, it's like I was really not doing well in school. Um, had been doing things that weren't good for my mental health or my physical health, just kind of drinking a lot and in and out of, relationships, etc. And I was just like, I really didn't have a path. I didn't have a path. I felt like all my friends had a path. And it just feels like all of a sudden I woke up and I were like, oh, wow, like you're really like, things are really moving along for you. And I'm like, man, I don't know how I got here, you
Yeah,
know?
that's crazy, dude. I can't like honestly like I can't imagine. I've had my fair share of like trying to do like viral shit. Like from a young age, I had a bunch of YouTube channels. I did a little bit of like TikTok shit. I mean, like you see my TikTok. I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's just like me doing like fucking filters and shit. I'm not even like doing anything. And when it comes to this podcast, like it'd be sick to like blow up, but like for the large vast majority of it, it's just I do it for shits. Um, so it's like I had that drive in me to for a while at least to like try to get some sort of platform. But now it's like for me, it's like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's funny because like, excuse me, I actually have kind of like similar in a way. Like when I was growing up, like I never like started the TikTok thing like wanting a platform. I really just started because I was bored. I didn't think it'd go anywhere. But
Mhm.
yeah, like when I was young as well, like it never clicked in my brain. But I guess I also was like just in front of a camera. Like I also had like the YouTube channels and then just like doing random shit. Like I was super into like I used to be like a competitive COD player. Like I was super
Hmm.
into like video games and building computers and stuff, but I just meshed with something else I was passionate about. So,
What's your favorite Call of Duty?
dude, I'm going Black
I
Ops
gotta ask
3.
you. Black Ops
I
3. Wow.
I know it's a controversial take. It's controversial, but I cannot tell you how many hours I logged on that game, dude. I was a menace on that game.
I think all time for me. I gotta say, campaign wise, Black Ops 1. But
I respect that.
hours, like Modern Warfare, but from 2019.
Okay, now that's respect. That's definitely more respectable than Black Ops 3. That
Mhm.
Modern Warfare was good. I actually like that game too.
Yeah, yeah, dude. During like the pandemic, like I would sit there with my friends like nine,
Oh
ten
yeah.
hours a day, Warzone till like 4 a.m. Like,
But yeah, no, I feel that, man. That's the fun game. Absolutely.
yeah, it's a good time. Do you still play any video games or?
I really like haven't in a long time. It's just like so much of like, um, and this is like a good and a bad thing, but a lot of people say that, just how I think some of my mental health stuff, like I'm very like, I have like really bad OCD. So once I catch something that I like really like, I'm just like obsessed. Like I am obsessed to like I will do it every day, nonstop. I will cut out so many other things in my life, which is really bad. And like I've been trying to work to like find that balance, but lately, no. It's like every night I'm usually either sleeping or trying to find something to do with content. So, but I
Mhm.
want to get back into it. It's a good escape that I need.
Yeah, dude, Xbox or PlayStation?
Dude, I was PlayStation 4. Then I went to the new Xbox.
Mhm.
And then I switched back to PlayStation. I think
Yeah,
PlayStation's just superior, man. The UI
yeah.
superior.
I'm lifelong Xbox. That's like I fucking bleed Microsoft, bro.
Really, hey, I like that. Yeah, it's really just like it's
It's all
personal
yeah.
preference.
It's up to preference. And I was playing Starfield in the beginning of the month. That shit is fun as fuck. That's like a new Xbox
Really,
exclusive.
I've heard good things. You like that game?
It's a lot of dude. I've played way too much. I probably have like 60 hours
Dude,
like
that's nice though.
in like
That's
3 weeks.
though. Oh
Yeah,
damn, that's sick though. I might
that
have
was
to.
my little hyperfixation for a bit.
Hey, I respect it. I still have an Xbox laying around, so I might have to download it, man. I've been looking for like something to play, something to escape with.
Yeah, man, it's fun. You should try it
That's dope.
out.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
anyway, so going back, you go back, so you post your TikToks, they blow up. How do you get in contact with Harry? Like, how did that start?
That's actually really like funny that I don't think I've really like ever explained this, but people have asked me. So like at this point, like I'm at like 50K ish, still kind of grinding away, and I've always been aware of Harry. Like I was literally like because I've been um like so invested in politics for so long. I used to follow him. I watched him way back when, before 2020, way before any of this. And I was I there's this girl that I was in a relationship with. At the time I was not, kind of like an in and out situationship type thing for a long time. And I was scrolling on live one day. I hadn't talked to her in a few months, and I saw her on live with Harry, like in the box or whatever. So I
Hmm.
hopped up, I requested in, and I talked to Harry for just a minute. I was like, "What's up? I've seen your content," and I actually, funny enough, reconnected with her. Harry found out the connection. He thought it was funny because my previous relationship or situationship or whatever you want to call it got very invested in politics.
Hmm.
And then from then on out, I started hopping in the lives more, and it became like a little like friendship of me and this girl and Harry. And slowly but surely, we started talking more, traded numbers, and we just like click really well from like really from just a friend's perspective. Like we're really good friends now. I love that dude.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Isn't it cool how you can like meet fucking people online and then just
Uh,
immediately become friends with them?
I know it's wild. It's wild. Yeah, because like I think like just before that point, Harry actually had followed me. He like saw one of my videos and was like, "Dude, had to support. Like, love the content." I messaged him back. I was like, "Dude, this is so crazy. Like, I've been watching you for a long time. Like, I appreciate it so much." And then I forgot about it. And then just like scrolling, it's a small world. I'm like, wait, I know that girl,
Hmm.
and I know that guy. And then the rest is that's that.
Damn, that's awesome, man. So you're talking with Harry for a bit. When do you get like so? When did you guys like actually meet up and start making videos? Like, how did that work out?
Um, so Harry's in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I'm in Atlanta. So, um, I'm trying to think about when this was. It must have been like midsummer, maybe, so June or July. He was like, you should come up to Manhattan for a few days. And I was like, why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Hmm.
And so I came and we re-recorded a couple videos. And yeah, like really just like had a great time. Um, and I guess after that we met up again in LA for Tim Dillon stuff. And yeah, now like we're hoping he can come down to Atlanta. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. I think it was just like pretty spur of the moment. Like we're both like I'm a pretty contrary to popular belief. I'm pretty consistently don't have how do I say this? I'm very blessed to have parents who support me, but in terms of my personal finances, I'm pretty broke. So I was
Hmm.
like, you know what, screw this. I'm gonna spend money on a plane ticket. I'm gonna come to Manhattan for a few days, and yeah, pretty spur of the moment.
Yeah, man. So since you mentioned it, I already got to jump to it. How the fuck did you guys get on Tim Dillon?
Yeah, dude. So that's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're
It's
fine. I
it
just got to know.
Yeah, I mean, so I was in. So for people from like for I don't know if I guess you're not really familiar with Georgia, but UGA, the college, like
Hmm.
it's like an hour and a half or so from Atlanta or Kennesaw where I stay. I have a lot of friends there, so I went there one day, and I actually, was not familiar with Tim Dillon's content. I have a lot of friends who are very into like Rogan, Dylan,
Hmm.
like all that. And I was actually just there having like just chilling, like it's game day, and I got a DM from him. He was like, "Yo, like I've seen you all over Twitter. Like you and your boy, like you and your friend Harry should like pull up and like come on the podcast." And I like looked at one of my friends. I was like, it was a DM on Twitter. I was like, "Hey, do you guys like this guy's got a ton of followers? You know who this is?" And they were like, "Holy shit, like that's Tim Dillon." And I started watching. I was like, I do kind of know this guy, like, and he's funny as hell.
Yeah,
And I reached out to Harry, and yeah, in the next like 3 4 weeks, we just set it up, and we were there.
that's fucking
Just a
awesome,
DM on
man.
Twitter. Yeah.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Man, yeah, he's sick. I only recently got into him. I mean, so like I had a job back in over the summer. I was landscaping with a crew and stuff, and I listened to a lot of podcasts to like pass the time. So I started off with like Lex Friedman, and then I found Breaking Points, and then I always knew Joe Rogan existed. I started listening to him a little bit more, and then I listened to Tim Dillon on Joe Rogan, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's funny as fuck.
Just fuck yeah.
So then I started listening to him, and then I saw his fucking YouTube video, Gen Z or Tim Dillon takes on Gen Z, and I was like, wait, I know those guys from TikTok.
Dude, yeah, dude, that was, oh man, that was quite the experience.
Yeah,
And there, dude, that's hilarious. That's funny. Yeah, Tim's a really funny guy.
I
Tim's
can
a funny
imagine.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you guys like stay in contact at all?
Yeah. Tim and I are we're all pretty I guess I won't speak for other people, but in general, like we are the three of us are pretty good friends. We stay in
Mm-hmm.
contact. We talk every so often. I think that like, in terms of like navigating in this field, a lot of people are not fond of Tim. They're not fond
Yeah,
of Rogan on my side of the aisle, which is fine. Tim and I have gotten in some pretty heated debates. And I'm not super fond of Rogan myself. But in terms of like just his like just like being like a good person, like he's a great guy regardless of
yeah.
all it. And yeah, so we stay in contact. We have some calls. We send funny jokes and stuff. He makes fun of us for being who we are, so it's a good time.
Did you see an increase in like followers or whatever from that, or the opposite? Like,
No, actually, I think it stayed. I think it stayed pretty much the same. I think like a lot of people were like, and this is like the weird thing about like navigating this field a lot of time. It's like Harry and I were talking, and it's like that Dylan episode on average, each of his episodes combined YouTube and uh audio downloads will probably do like you know a million or just under in a month.
mm-hmm.
That specific episode probably did like 1.5 million. But none of the people who listen to Dylan are gonna
Yeah,
come listen to me. This is like a very
mm-hmm.
different crowd, which is fine. But that wasn't really my concern. I just wanted to enjoy it. A lot of people,
Yeah,
I think there was some kickback of like, why would you go talk to that guy? Like, why would you do that? But I think like again in this field, you have to be like willing to like I think like we're so divided, like if I can't just like go sit down and like talk to the guy, like I don't have
mm-hmm.
to like him. I don't have to agree with what he says, but I just wanted to like see what was up. So
That's a really good point. I noticed this from an outsider that everybody on TikTok, um, whether left, right, middle, whatever the fuck, it's just so like divided. And not even on TikTok, everywhere in general on social media. And it makes it seem like that you're almost like the algorithms force you into like a sort of echo chamber, you know?
Yeah.
And so I like the way that you handle it, where you are able to sit down and have like casual conversations with people you don't agree with at all, like i.e. Tim Dillon, or like the lives that you do, stuff like that. Um, because I think it's just very different compared to other political people on social media. So like I do value that aspect of what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I that seriously means the world. I can't tell you how much, like, seriously, I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that, like, in I think you said it perfectly. The algorithm will social media is such a brilliant thing, especially in the field that I'm in. It's good, but it's very dangerous at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And so you said it really well. Like, you get shifted into these echo chambers, you get very divided. Um, People really want to take a stance on everything, which is okay. You want to feel like, it just it really like ramps everyone up. And I think,
Yeah.
like, I really wasn't seeing anybody as I got into the field that, like, was willing to, like, speak to the other side, even if it's a screaming match. Like, no one's really speaking to each other. You know what I mean?
It's very like you're my enemy. It's not even like you're like a person. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Exactly.
it's so interesting to me. I mean, I was just brainstorming the other night. Um, I want to like going forward with this podcast a little bit, I wanted to try having on people who support different candidates on, just talk about like what they think is the most important aspects of the election. And somebody I know, one of my friends, he's a Trump supporter. He's terrified to come on and do that because he's just scared to get like visceral hate for the rest of his life, you know? And I'm like, I mean, like, I'm not going to force you. I totally understand it, but it would still be good to hear the opinion. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Exactly. And I have to say, like, I think, like, if that's like the vision for this podcast, I think that's fucking awesome. Like, I think, like, you would do, like, that's really important work. That's
Mm-hmm.
important work. I think that's, like, incredible. But yeah, man, like, even like, there's with that social media, it's like, even people who want to have a voice, it can be challenging to have that voice
Mm-hmm.
with the reaction of the internet.
Exactly, exactly. And that's a little good little segue. So, reactions to the internet. You are very open about your mental health struggles with what you do and outside of what you do and all of that. So, I'm curious, from an outside perspective, a perspective that TikTok doesn't get, how do you like handle that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Um, you know, I at first, my algorithm when I was first doing it was pretty geared toward people who were very supportive, and I still have so many people who are so supportive of what I do, and it means the world, the absolute world. Uh, I walked into some visceral hate, especially
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. Times Twitter's a brutal place. TikTok can be a brutal place. I've blown up, one or two times for the wrong reasons. Um, and the death threats are many. The address leaks are there. Um, I think, like, how I deal with it, that's something, I'll be honest. So first of all, that's something I'm still learning. I think a lot of days it's, something that, like, as much as it sucks to say, like, I just, like, push down and ignore. And sometimes it can get overwhelming. I think that, like, having even one person who supports me, like, seeing the supporting comments, like, really, like, lifts me up into, like, a whole new world. Like, one comment of, like, I appreciate what you do outweighs 10,000 negative comments. So I try to lean on that. But besides that, I think it's just, like, going back to the basics of, like, mental health. I'm very big on, like, mental health. And so you got to, like, even if it feels crazy, you got to, like, follow the playbook, right? So it's like, you're anxious about this, you're overwhelmed about this, you're sad about this. What can we do differently? Why don't we, talk the phone for 10 minutes and go outside and take a walk, or,
Mm-hmm.
go play some sports, or talk to some friends. And just kind of, just, like, day by day, just trying to, like, be the healthiest version of me I can be.
Right. Yeah. I mean, have you ever had any like in-person encounters with any of your haters or just online?
Uh,
Because I feel like
no.
I feel like if
Go
people
ahead.
people would act very differently in person compared to just like how they
Right, right,
demonstrate,
exactly. No, it's never been in person. I've been with Harry, and he's had encounters in person with people who don't like him. And again, like this is where like the whole social media thing will really like in a way like rot your head.
Yeah.
I for a while when it was like there's been some times where it's been very, very intense. I think when like Harry and I were together for Tim, that was kind of in the middle of like our most controversial ever. We were on Fox News for 2 nights, and like the endless amounts of hate was crazy. And I think like even then you just like social media becomes your world. You think everyone's out to get you. I was out with Harry and someone had recognized him, and we figured out he didn't like Harry or etc. And like you could just tell the anxiety between Harry and I of like your head on a swivel. It's like it's
Right.
everywhere you go. You just like think like because that that's not how it is in person, but it becomes to like every anxiety where it's like rotting your brain. You're like, who's out? Who could be. This sounds so. It's and again that it'll make you feel. I don't mean to get into an engine here, but it'll make you feel crazy because you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm just Chris. I'm just like a 21-year-old kid. Like you feel selfish. You're like, why would I think that someone wants to hurt me? I'm not that important. But there's also this level of anxiety where you're like going through the comments that you've gotten, the address leaks, the like I'm coming for your family, where you're like, I'm sitting in my house and I'm like, there's just that level of anxiety. Like I just gotta stay safe.
Yeah, man. That must be tough, honestly. I mean, do you, even though you receive all that like constant anxiety, do you still think what you do provides value for yourself? Not for other people, but for yourself.
I do. I do. Absolutely. That's a wow, Aiden, that's a great
I'm a
question.
psychology major, man.
That dude, oh my goodness. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, I gotta make sure like my mic levels. Um, sorry.
Yeah, you're
That
fine.
no, that's a dude. Shout out, Aiden. That was a crazy question. I've never been asked that. I've been on some podcasts about like, well, not really like this, but that was a really good question. Yes, I do. I think it really does. I think like what I've been searching for so long. I say so long, I'm only 21,
Mhm.
but ever since I wasn't really the best student, I didn't really know about college. I didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. This has like given me a significant amount of like purpose. I feel like I'm doing something that like brings like a lot of joy and value in my life, and helps me wake up every day. So like even through the hate, yeah, I think it brings tremendous value. Yeah.
And where do you see yourself going with this in the future? Do you see yourself
It's
entering like are you going to be inside the Beltway? You see yourself on Capitol Hill, like a correspondent? What do you think?
that's a good question. I think like there's two ways hypothetically. Like I either see myself as like running one day, right? Running, being an actual like on Capitol Hill, but I also see myself as like a pundit, right? As
Mhm.
someone who like or like is just like a talking head almost, if that's like the correct term. I don't know if that has a negative connotation, but like you know what I mean, just like having
Yeah.
like a like MSNBC or like whatever, or
Mhm.
a podcast that does really well, whatever. But I also think that like it's important to just try to like take things day by day. Ever since this has all happened to me, I've really realized like there's no point in predicting. Just wake up every single day. um take the right steps that you think will move you in the right direction, have a set of values that move you in the right direction, and the right thing will come.
That's a good mentality to have. I mean, I did like for me, for example, so I'm a psychology communications major, journalism and communications. I did a little bit of political science for a while. I am pretty invested in it. I'm more interested in like geopolitical shit than domestic shit because I find domestic shit to be way more boring, honestly. Um, but so I was like into that for a while, and then for what I due to scheduling like conflicts graduating on time, I couldn't keep doing political science, but like I do pursue the journalism aspect of it. And I have for a while, like when I was telling you before, I was like, I always was trying to find ways to like make myself blow up. I would have like a news YouTube channel. I did like a news website in like seventh grade where I like basically copied and pasted like CNN articles under like news by Aiden.
I
Um
like that. I like that.
and then uh yeah, so I always did that shit for a while. I write a little bit for my newspaper now at school, but I do like this podcasting started off as a project for a class. And then I liked it so much I kept doing it with my co-host at the time. And we had like a list of people that wanted to do it because we posted clips on our stories. And then I was like, oh shit, I love having fucking conversations with people. I like ideally for me, even though this is like there's the idea to get to this height is just like it's something dumb. Like I would love to be like in a position like Joe Rogan, where he's sitting there, he's just talking to people and he's making millions of fucking dollars doing it.
Yeah.
That's how
Yeah.
I that's what I
No,
like, you know?
dude, that's sick. Like, I think, like, first of all, the way that we've done this so far has been like you're incredibly good at it. Like, I'll say
Mhm.
that.
I
Like,
appreciate it.
yeah, yeah, you're incredibly good at it. Incredibly impressive. So, like, yeah, I think you should like keep chasing it. It seems up your alley. It's fucking great. And regardless of that, fucking dude, shoot for the moon. I think shooting for Rogan is like, or that type of thing is great. And I also think that's what like us often like makes our generation like special is like we reach high for a lot of things.
Mhm.
And so fucking dude, if anyone could do it, I bet it'd be you because like you don't know. I'll tell you this. I've been no hate to any podcast I've been on, but I've been on some podcasts. You're very good at asking questions and the way you conduct yourself. It's good.
I appreciate it, man. I try my
Yeah,
best. I mean, I just like to listen. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I listen to the underlying like emotions, you know, and
right, right.
sitting there and I'm like I try to like piece them together.
It's it's like Aiden's therapy like podcast kind
Yeah,
of.
exactly. I mean, therapy. Some of them are therapy. Like the one, not the one that's released. I'm supposed to release today. It's going to come out tomorrow. The one before that, I was talking about like fucking UFOs and my friend Ryan. Like it's like very like whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I
right,
mean?
right. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed a lot. So it's like common goal. You know, you enjoy what you do. I enjoy what I do. It's just a matter of What I wonder is with you is, do you think? Hang on, I just lost it. Fuck. Um, this is why my ADHD, I'm off my
No,
game right now. So do you think with TikTok, I mean, like, do you like traditional news is on its way out? So like you talking about being like a pundit, um, that's gonna be a thing in the past in the next 15 years, in my opinion. Based like the CNNs, the MSNBCs, Fox, all of that. So like rather than doing like short form TikToks, because if that's the way of the world for the foreseeable future, I think we are in a very sad place as a society where all we can do is just stare at 10-second fucking videos. You know
right,
what I mean? Like,
right, right.
so I mean, like, what do you think? Like podcasts? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, no, that's actually like a really, really good point you bring up that I've talked to people about. Like, yeah, like I think like the stat right now is like 65% or 60%, maybe somewhere around there, haven't watched a single minute of cable news in the last 60 days.
Mhm.
And you talk about like the views that like creators do now, even in like the politics news realm, it's like overtaking fucking Fox and MSNBC. Um, so yeah, I think like probably on its way out, although those are massive billion-dollar companies. You got to assume maybe they have a plan. We'll see. But yeah, I think like if it's not that, it's definitely like podcasts. Like, I like short form stuff. I think it's really cool. But like in terms of like getting like, like being like that talking figure, yeah, it's gotta be podcasts. That's why I'm like podcasts are fucking hard though, man. They're so
Mhm.
hard.
It's
Like
it's an
it's really
oversaturated market.
Oh yeah, super oversaturated. Everyone wants to start a podcast. There's a ton that goes into it.
Mhm.
But it's fun though. It's fun, and you always hope for the best. So
Exactly. I
yeah.
mean, I think another issue that people have with like the reason that cable news is dying out is it's so like everything you can tell immediately of like the bias. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, yeah, and I tell people this is like part of the reason I I this is part of the reason I act the way I do, and I say that like authenticity is important, right? If I would have done the exact same thing I did, but maybe conduct myself in a different way, maybe I was more professional, maybe I didn't scream in my bathroom, maybe I didn't scream in my car, maybe I didn't curse as much, maybe I put on a suit, maybe I said all the same stuff. I'd probably have a shot right now at MSNBC. I'd probably have people, that are like controlling those networks or whatever. Like, this is a good kid. We should have him on. But I always tell people like authenticity is key. And a lot of the reason cable news is out is because, especially for Gen Z, what 21-year-old, as much as I like, even I watch MSNBC, I watch CNN, I watch Fox, and I respect the hell out of a lot of the people who do that. Like, I respect the hell out of them. I think they're really good. But there's not a lot of 21-year-olds who relate to like the dude on MSNBC in a suit. There's not a lot of 21-year-olds, even if the information is up their alley, whatever. They're like, this guy's like out of touch. Who is this
Yeah.
guy? As opposed to like, I try to conduct myself in a way of like, I'm 21, dude. Like, you don't have to listen to me. I try to educate myself. I probably don't know a lot, but like it's probably more relatable if like I'm just chilling, just being me, just acting like the 21-year-old talking about this stuff. It's I think like America right now is like searching for that kind of like relatability.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And my whole thing with cable news is it's just I find all of it insufferable, honestly. I find it's just like all these like people who have been on there for decades who are grandfathered in and are talking about how this person's bad because he didn't do this or how she's bad because she did this. And like it's not like there's always bias. And that's what it comes down to for me. Like I like crave just unbiased, unfiltered, raw shit. That's why my favorite source of news right now is Breaking Points, that podcast.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
watch their clips on YouTube. If I'm like going long drives, going on long drives, then I'll like listen to the whole thing. But like usually when I come back home, if I'm not getting my news from Twitter or actually only Twitter, then I'll like get my dinner and I'll just put on like a clip from Breaking Points and I'll be like, that's
points.
it, and
Yeah,
there it's what I like what they do is with they got the guy Saga from the right, Crystal from the left, and they agree on virtually everything at the end of the day. You know
yeah,
what I mean? It's just so much
yeah.
much more refreshing that is lacking in all
Rushing.
like cable news.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. And I think like regardless of like whether I disagree or agree with this, like, yeah, I think like you said it well. Like, people are like starving for unbiased news. Like,
Exactly.
people want the most unbiased news, and like right now our trusted media is low, which I think is a problem, and I could blame certain people for that. But regardless, like, yeah, people want more unbiased news, something more refreshing, and yeah, like I want to 100% hear it. Even
Yeah.
I like even I really enjoy MSNBC. I enjoy CNN. But I don't watch it as much as I get news from other places because
Yeah.
yeah, I feel you. Yeah,
They're behind the game.
right, right behind the right, exactly.
All right, Chris, let's talk hobbies. What do you like to do in your free time?
Ooh, dude, fuck. So like I said, I think like the OCD is brutal. The obsession sometimes with what I do, the screen time on my phone can be 13, 14 hours, just like
Mm-hmm.
constant influx of like news. Even if I'm not posting, I'm just like ingesting so much. But I'm not doing that. Um, I've been really into tennis lately. Big tennis player all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
Joined a team, like really like I love tennis, fun. Basketball, love to play basketball. It's like my sport. Um, After that, like I'm just kind of like a technology geek. Like a lot of people don't know that about me. Like I love building computers. I do that like
Mm-hmm.
in my free time. Like I build computers for friends, family, whatever. I just like enjoy like a lot of like tech stuff. Like phones, computers, whatever. Um, and yeah, besides that, just like being a college kid, just like
Mm-hmm.
going out, having going to parties, talking to friends, just normal stuff like that.
Cool, cool. Where did you say you went to school again? I completely forgot.
No, no, you're fine. I go to Kennesaw State University, which
Kennesaw
is like
State.
it's a suburb of Atlanta.
Okay.
So it's just like there's only a few schools really in Georgia that most people go to. It's like UGA, Georgia Tech, Kennesaw State, Georgia Southern, Georgia State. But Kennesaw State, yeah, it's just a little north of Atlanta.
Cool, cool. I've been to Atlanta once, but I was in the airport, so I don't think it counts.
No,
Um,
hey, we have a nice airport. I'll tell you that.
yeah,
We
it
have
is
a
a nice
nice
airport. I
airport.
was on my way to Marco Island in Florida. It was a connecting flight
Oh,
in
nice,
Atlanta. That was
nice.
years
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
ago.
yeah, yeah. No, that's dope. Yeah, I mean, I actually like it's kind of funny like to grow up here. Like I grew up in town, like in like Midtown Atlanta, right in the heart. And I actually like for the longest time didn't know that like connecting flights existed
Mhm.
because like when Delta is your hub and you're the biggest airport in the world, you can fly direct to anywhere.
Mhm.
So I was like stunned to learn as I like got like into this and I like started traveling. I was like, oh, like a lot of people have like connecting flights. That's like a
Yeah.
thing. But when you're spoiled with at Hartsfield Jackson and Delta, that's not a thing.
I'm a little spoiled too. I live like 15 minutes away from Newark Airport in New Jersey. So
Oh yeah, right. Exactly.
I know I'm repping the fucking Maryland flag here, but I'm a
But
diehard New
no, I
Jersey.
like it. I like it.
So
Yeah, I'll have to come up there sometime. I've heard good things.
yeah, Baltimore. All right. So it's taken me 3 years of living in Baltimore to actually appreciate Baltimore. Um, it gets a bad rap. It definitely gets a bad rap. Um,
Yeah.
there's a lot of great places to go. The harbor is very nice. There's nice little neighborhoods. Like where I live off campus from Loyola. So I live like a little bit. So Johns Hopkins and Loyola are like a mile and a half apart from each other. I live closer to Johns Hopkins, and that whole neighborhood around Johns Hopkins, it's like beautiful. All these new buildings, shops and stuff. But at the same time, Johns Hopkins has their campus police is like a small military, so
Jesus.
they have like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Like they
Wow.
have it's like a 4 or 5 block radius around the campus, and every single corner there's of every single street there's a cop standing there.
Holy
And
shit. That's
I
crazy.
they're not typically armed, but I have talked to, because my building is mostly Johns Hopkins students, not Loyola. I have talked to some of them, and they were like, "Yeah, the locals fucking hate the Johns Hopkins police." Um,
That's crazy, dude.
yeah,
That's
from what I've
insane.
gathered, like Johns Hopkins does not have a good um,
Good good rep.
communication with the neighborhood, with the community.
Okay. Yeah. So they just have that shit. They just have it on lock, dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of schools are like I gotta protect. That's crazy. That's great. And wait, so if you go to Loyola, didn't you guys have like that crazy like March Madness run a few years ago? Is that right?
Yes. I think a couple of years ago, I don't think I was here
Okay, yeah, that
when
might
it
have been like
happened,
4 or 5. Yeah.
but
I'm trying to like get my geography straight.
I will
Yeah.
say 2 years ago when St. Peter's University had that crazy run,
Yeah.
I went to St. Peter's Prep, the high school for them, and that was fun. That was like we were
Oh,
very,
dude, that's sick.
yeah,
That's super sick. Okay.
yeah. And then the kid, Doug, I think Doug something,
Yeah.
he went to the high school that my friend Trevor went to in New Jersey too. So that was like equally cool.
Oh, dude,
Um,
that's awesome. I bet that was a fun time. Hell yeah. Wait, so are you a Ravens fan?
no.
Okay.
I used to be a Steelers fan for a while. I should have been like I know like I should be like a Giants or a Jets fan. I don't. I
Yeah,
only watch football like when it's the playoffs, and that's really the only
that's fair.
sports I ever watch.
I respect
Um,
it. Okay.
I've adopted the Orioles as my favorite baseball team, but I
Okay.
also like don't follow them. Like I just found out today that they lost the playoffs or whatever. Uh,
Yeah.
but I've been to more O's games than any other sports games because Camden Yards
Damn.
is
Okay.
beautiful, such a beautiful
Yeah.
stadium,
Yeah.
and the tickets are dirt cheap. So it's fun. I like going to baseball games versus like watching baseball
Yeah. For
just
sure.
because it's boring. But
Yeah. No. 100%. That's dope. No. Hell yeah. That's dope. I feel that. I hear that. Yeah. The Braves are getting. We're like the World Series favorites. We're getting crushed by the Phillies as we speak. So.
oh really?
Yeah.
Damn, I wouldn't
So.
know, but that does
Yeah.
suck.
It's how it happens.
I knew that because I was like I guess following the O's a little bit because I knew that they were like favorited for a while, and then
Yeah.
who beat them? I don't even know.
You know, so yeah, for the record, I'm not big into baseball either. Like, I really enjoy playoff baseball. I'm like, I actually follow the Braves like a little bit, but like basketball is more my sport.
Mhm.
But I've been following the Braves like a lot as we've gone like later in this season. And it's like super fun. But yeah, to be honest, I don't know baseball that well either. Not big baseball guy.
I read something online once that baseball, like over the past 20 years, has gotten longer, like a couple hours, like the overall game.
Yeah.
And it's like it boils down to like people like walking up to home plate, like music playing while they're walking up to home
Walking
plate.
up home plate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, the MLB like this year or last year, I think they have like a pitch clock now or whatever. So
Hmm.
like it's like you're limited or you have to pitch within like 20 seconds each time or whatever. Cause like, yeah, that's like the whole thing. They have like the oldest fans out of any sport because like young people are not attracted to baseball because it's
Hmm.
so fucking long and boring. So they're trying to like figure out ways to like speed up the game, which is good. Because I
Yeah,
agree with you. I
they
agree. Like,
really
oh, go
should.
to a baseball game. Shit's fun. But like watching, unless it's like playoff baseball, I'm not watching a baseball game.
It's like baseball is like the type of thing that you put in the background of like a Reddit TikTok. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right, right. Exactly. Yeah, that's what we all need. We need like I'll watch. You can watch the O's, but on the bottom of your TV, you need like Subway Surfers to like
I
go.
it's really funny. I did a podcast episode last semester about that with one of my friends, and
Really?
we posted a bunch of TikToks and Instagram reels, but we posted, I think it was audio only. I'm not sure if we had video, but it was the video or slash audio. And then we were talking about how awful those Subway Surfers videos were, but we put Subway Surfers in the background.
That's
And it
funny.
actually got like
That's
it got
hilarious.
like more views on TikTok. Like, I think it got like a couple thousand views, like
Oh
compared to
damn,
what I
that's
I was like, damn,
that's actually really funny. That's actually I like that. That's funny.
were people actually listening, or were they just watching the Subway Surfers?
Surfers, right? You'll never know, right? Exactly.
But what do you think about that? What do you think about attention spans and TikTok and all that shit?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that there's like plenty of evidence to suggest that like especially young people, their attention span is zero. I mean, it's
Mhm.
just all scroll. I think like um I don't know. I think we'll like really discover the dangers of that later. I think right now, like in terms of like my field, for example, I think it's like really incredible that you can like, digest so much information at once. But like at the same time, it's we're not meant for this, dude. Like we are
Mhm.
not meant for this. Like our generation shares like a general, I think, like connection of like we're all like to just be blunt, we're all fucked up, man. Like this whole
Right.
like social media, like growing up in this has like really like caused a lot of mental health problems. It's like very intense. And so like yeah, I mean everyone's just like it's scroll, and I assume that the attention span is definitely close to zero for us, close to zero.
Well, I like to think of it like, because I was actually talking about this with somebody today, how our generation, I guess, is like the very tail end of social media. So like, or like of like this, like the tail end of like getting onto social media. So like the new generation, I don't even know what the fuck it's called. They like are born on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that's actually so funny you mentioned that because I was literally having this conversation with multiple people like last week. They were like, "Isn't like Gen Z like super fucked?" I'm like, "Yeah, but Gen Alpha is what they're called. They're like, I think like the first one was born in like I should know this, but they're super young. They're like screwed. Like we were born and like we remember Blackberries and like there was
Mhm.
no such thing as iPads until we were like 11. But no, they're born straight up 3 years old. They're like they're on it, you know?
I think
Yeah.
it's like I think that's like the most dangerous fucking thing you can do to a kid is give them an iPad.
I can only imagine how like screwed up some of their brains are gonna be. And like that's such like a I hate saying that because it feels like such a boomer take, especially being
Mhm.
like super into like I'm super into technology. Like I think it's all really good. And it's like super fascinating, but like I don't know, man. That shit. I talk to friends all the time. Like even like being in the position I'm in, it'll fuck with your head. It's not great for the mental, man. It's not great.
Do you remember? Oh God, I think it was the beginning of this year that like hashtag core trend on TikTok where people were
Yeah.
posting like existential ass videos of like, and it was like Patrick Bateman or like
Yeah.
the guy from Blade Runner like screaming and like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I
That
do. Yeah.
shit fucked me up for a bit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like there's some crazy shit. I actually like I had a lot of people talk to me about that, although like I'll admit like I I digest like so much social media from just like all about news that like I don't even do any of it for enjoyment anymore, which like really sucks. I'm trying to like find this like middle ground where like I've made like an alt account or I've like switched entirely to like reels or something just to like digest like take 5 minutes to just like watch something funny or interesting as opposed to like anytime I'm on TikTok, I'm purely just like watching news, which is just like so it's tiring. But yeah, I did hear a little bit about that. I did hear a little bit about that. Although I'll be honest, I don't know much.
Wait, I'm curious now. Is your For You page just like all people
Oh
like
yeah.
you, people like you basically?
Well, yeah, yeah. It's like a combination. Like part of the reason I had to get off TikTok, like not off it, but like I'm like not watch it, is like it's a combination of like tons of news, which
Mhm.
just like it's just like a weight. Like I love it. Like again, I love it. I just have to find a balance. But like it could be a weight. But also I had to get off because like I scroll my For You page and just see myself. And
Mm.
that I fucking hate. Like I try to like digest as many comments as I can. Like again, I'm very open. I try to like read as many comments as I can. I try to reply. I try to look at all my duets. I want to hear from people, but it just gets to a point where like, there's a couple days in a row where I'm just like scrolling my For You page. It's like every 3 videos is like me saying something stupid on Dylan, or it's someone like duetting me, like basically calling me a trash can with like 80K likes. And then I'm just like scrolling and seeing my face. And I'm just like, I can't do this anymore, dude. Like, this just doesn't, like, this is not enjoyable, bro. Like, I wanted to like sit on this app for like 5 minutes to like escape from like the fact that like escape in a healthy way. Like, give me 5 fucking minutes to watch something funny, so I can like not focus on politics for a minute. But it just all became people like, destroying me. So I'm like, okay, I just can't do this right now. So
You remember the first negative video about you that you saw?
I think I do actually, funny enough. Um I my first ever video that's now deleted. And it's just deleted because like I don't know. Like I cleaned up my page a little bit. My first video was like a lot of my early videos, like I'm gonna keep them all up. They're just like they're not well. And I was very like everyone knows that like you grow as a content creator, like you grow significantly, which is important. I was significantly more divisive when I started. Um, I was like just so much more of a dick. Which is okay sometimes, but I really try to like distance myself from that. But yeah, I made a video that was like pretty like out there and divisive. And like yeah, I got bashed from like two pretty like large accounts at the time. Um, and like yeah, but coming from a place of like I hate. It's so funny that I decided to get into this field, but I literally hate like I'm not good at like what's the word? Confrontation, conflict stresses me out. I always want to please everybody. I'm a people pleaser at heart. And so like part of it was just like learning when I would like see a bad video about me, like, oh my God, like I have to fix this. Like I have to like go back on my word almost. It was like this stress, but then I'm like, oh wait, this is what I do. I'm just me.
Mhm. How do you, well, that was a bad voice crack, fuck. How do you do like dealing with that anxiety of seeing yourself? I don't know what the fuck that feels like. I feel like if I saw myself on my TikTok For You page and it wasn't like a video of me that one of my friends posted, I would like, it would be like a Black Mirror episode for me. So
Yeah.
like, so like, I guess what I'm trying to say is how do you like cope with that besides like just
Yeah.
saying like that mantra?
Yeah.
Like, do you like limit like your screen time on TikTok? Do you just be like in your mind be like, fuck it, this is just a random person on the internet? Like, but even if you do that, like if I know that if I did that, it would still like bug me. Even if I knew that
Right.
this is just like a keyboard warrior, whatever the fuck, I would still be like, yeah, but this guy still said that about me. You know what I mean?
Right, right, exactly. No, I mean, dude, it's like it's a fantastic question. I think like, and it's funny, like you've caught me at this. Like, I think it'd be like, I think it'd be like really good to like rewatch this in a year, see where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'm still like very much trying to deal with this. I think, I'll kind of like walk you through it. I think, at first it was very hard. And like people know on the internet, I've been open about like my use of alcohol, and a lot of that like started to drown into like at the later phase. Cause like when I first started TikTok in October, like I was drinking a lot, like a lot, a lot. And it wasn't until that like January that like I ended up like for an extended period of time being sober and like getting some help for like depression and stuff. But I think for like a while, it was like just coping with that, like just like the escape. And like my original like use of alcohol, and I'm still open like a lot. And again, like this is like probably the hardest comment I get. But like I've been open about the fact that I'm not sober. I drink in moderation. I meet with a therapist and a doctor every week. And a lot of people disagree with that standpoint. They say I can't do it. They say I have to be sober. I think like the internet, especially Twitter, has been very, very visceral about like, if that's the right word, about like my mental health and like alcohol use. It like really blew up and people were like really coming at me for it, which like really fucked with my head. But regardless of
It's
that,
not that's not productive for someone struggling with that kind of shit to hear a bunch of
right,
people tell
right,
you you're doing it wrong.
right, exactly. I'm like, fuck, dude. Right. But I think like after that, I think it just, right now, I think that like after, some of the controversy and like seeing myself so much, I think I like really like just like self-learn to like, shut it off to when it really helped that like when I watch something of myself, like sometimes you want to reply, you want to get angry. Take like 5 minutes to put down your phone, go do something else and come back and see how you feel. That's been very helpful. Like you kind of calm down, you're like, whatever, you know. Um, and then in terms of like now, I think it's become like a lot of people, like, especially in my area, because like specifically in my area, I've made a video about my university that really like blew up. Everyone, especially where I live, a lot of people know who I am. And a lot of people don't like me. And so pretty much like the last like 4 people, 5 people I've met consistently at events for school parties, they recognize me, they know who I am. And that's like honestly like way overtaken the like seeing myself on a screen. Like it's like it's that's like something I'm just beginning to start. So still like follow the playbook, separate yourself when you need. I'm trying to learn how to separate professional and personal, right? Those two things bleed really hard for me right now. Like I have obviously like everyone else, I'm very authentic. I'm very open on the internet. People know this about me. I try, but everybody, I don't care who you are, you have a level of like, I'm at work. I'm going to be professional at work. I'm going to be in my work mode. And then, I'm on this podcast right now. But then you have a personal where you're with your best friend, you're hanging out. You're just at least in some regard you're different. And that's what you need. Not everything can be professional. And right now with like people recognizing me, it's like bleeding. Like I'm at a party and like I'm trying to like I've limited myself to like one drink and I haven't had a drink in a week. And I'm like, I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm hanging out. Like this is really good. And like it's 11 p.m. and someone walks in, hey, I'm blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm Chris. And the first thing they do is look at me and say, are you on TikTok? Like, I love you so much. I know all your videos. And it's just like, fuck, that'll
Yeah.
like I love it to death. I wouldn't trade it for the world. The like the people that's happened to me, I truly like I love them to death. I appreciate them so much. I'm not trying to suggest that it's a bad thing. I have it way better than I'm blessed to have all this. I want to preface that, but at the same time, it's just all of that will just kind of make you want to just like shut off the world a little bit. Like you just like feel like you almost get into this mode where like it feels like everyone's listening, everyone's watching, everyone knows everything about you. Um, you know, and with like the controversy that I've been in, with like getting clipped or like whatever, it just feels like it gets to a point where you just kind of like feel like you're losing yourself a bit. And that's kind of like what I'm like trying to figure out right now is like, okay, continue on the path, be unapologetically Chris. And when you feel like escaping, just it can't be with drinking. It's got to be, you gotta do things in a healthy way. And I continue to like in terms of like coping, like you originally asked, like I just continue to like try to have like I'm an optimistic person. I have the most positive outlook. So I'm like, fuck, this is really hard. But like I'm so blessed to be in this position. I'm so blessed to have people who support me. I'm so blessed that like I even have the opportunity to make this like a job. Right. And I'm still like, I hope that I'm still like making a difference. And that just kind of like that combined with like good coping skills with mental health, I think like leads me to wake up every day and keep chasing it. Sorry if that was a little bit of a tangent. I was just trying to get my thoughts together.
That was really fucking interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I was very curious about that.
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't actually think about that part where, you're trying to have, normal, typical college life, and then person from campus comes in and is like, oh, you're Chris Mowrey, you're the kid that makes those Biden videos. I love you, I hate you, whatever.
yeah,
Um, and I think it's a very valid point, honestly, to say, like, fuck, I don't want to do this right now. Like there has to be a sort of
yeah. And
separation.
it'll like real, yeah. It's like, yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like, it, it's like really hard to explain because again, like it's like so many layers, right? I
Yeah.
feel so selfish because I'm like, what? Like this is incredible. Like why would I complain about this? And then you feel like there's so many people going through so many. This is such a first world problem. Like there's fucking I even in the position I'm in, as I'm still like growing, I really like I've learned how difficult this field can be at certain points, but I also like watch other people be like, oh, this is impossible, like I'm really struggling and everyone struggles. But I also just like continue to think to myself, like, I'm not, working a 9 to 5 to feed a family right now. So like I can figure this out. So it's like this layer of like selfishness, understanding it's hard. Um, but yeah, just this layer of like, this is so like, I just want to like, I want like 10 minutes to like, to shut it off for a bit. I want 10 minutes to like, if I'm in a room at 11 p.m. to just like be Chris, like the 21-year-old college kid, you know, as opposed to like, people being like, oh, I recognize you. Like, what do you think about this issue? Or like, like, oh, like I saw you on Twitter. You were the kid who like, you know, got exposed for blah, 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 or did this. And what do you think? And again, like, if anyone who's actually met me in person is listening, I fucking love you to death. They're all incredible people, like absolutely incredible. If you ever see me in person, I want you to come up to me. I want you to talk to me. It makes my day. But at the end of the day, there's still layers to everything. And I think
I'm
like,
in
again, that,
place.
yeah, time and place. And I think it like all full circles back to like alcohol. Because again, like I'm dealing with a situation right now where I'm basically telling you like I can't escape online. I can't escape in person. I can't escape with people I like, even people I like friends with. They might bring someone over who like recognize me. How do I escape? It all comes back to alcohol. So that's kind of like my challenge right now is like figuring out how to like be balanced.
Damn. Yeah, it totally makes sense. I mean, yeah, I like it's hard to form healthy coping mechanisms when you can go down the street and buy, I don't know what you like to drink. I'm just gonna be like a handle of Tito's for $15. You know what I mean? Like,
Right. Right.
um,
Exactly.
but yeah, I mean, I had that issue for a while. I mean, not to that degree, but like I would use weed to cope with shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that like I started to get way too anxious smoking weed.
Right.
Um, so like I stopped out of like the fact that it's like it wasn't even enjoyable for me anymore. I would sit
Right.
there and
Right.
I would sit there, I'd get high and I would just be like, this sucks. And then I would just sit there
Yeah.
for
This
two
is
hours and
right.
be like, okay, this was pointless. And then I would just like
Right.
convince myself of shit that isn't true and stuff like that. So that's not necessarily a thing for me anymore. But I mean, yeah, a couple of years ago, I mean, there was some stuff going on in my life and I would use that to uh get away from it. And it left me like, you know what it did to me? It left me like in a fog. I was like,
Yeah.
I felt like dissociated from everybody.
Yeah.
I felt like it kind of felt like I was like in third person.
And
You
third, dude, yeah,
know what I mean?
that's that. Yeah, dude, that's the worst feeling. That like
Mhm.
dissociation, like third person. That shit sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was interesting. I mean, you know what, actually, it's interesting. So this is a bit of a side tangent, but I'm getting back to the main point. So my best friend Connor, he used to love to drink. He can't drink anymore because he has some issues with like repeated concussions and stuff like that. He gives him a bad headache when he does it. So he took up playing the guitar. And by extension, I was like, fuck it, let me buy a guitar, see if I like it. I love it, dude. I love it. I sit here, I play like probably every single night now for the past 2 weeks out from like 11 to 12:30 in the morning. I sit here and I just play the guitar. I'm learning all like these I'm into like grunge rock stuff from the 90s. Excuse me, but
That's fucking sick.
yeah, it's fun. And I don't know if you can really see right now. There's like that guitar back there that I
Yeah.
got for $25. I have an electric guitar. If you can't see it, I can show you afterward. Um, but yeah, dude, it's like it's fun. And I don't like take lessons or anything. I go on this website Songster. I taught myself how to read the notes and the corresponding fingers. That took like all of 15 minutes. And then I just am learning. I mean, it's a struggle to get your fingers to work properly. But it's fun. It really is. And that's like I use that like as like a healthier coping mechanism for stress now, as opposed to like um drinking or smoking. I mean, like I drink 1 to 2 times a week with my friends. We get out to bars and stuff like that. Bars, sorry, my New Jersey accent came out there real quick. But like there were times, I guess, like over the past couple of years in college where like, yeah, I would like turn to like 3 or 4 day benders and I'll be like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Exactly.
And it's
Right.
like you don't even like realize it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because it's like it's very like normalized at
Yeah,
college, you know.
right.
It's not
Exactly.
alcoholism until after you graduate,
Graduate.
as
Right,
people
right,
say.
right. Exactly. And like you're it's fucking sick that you picked up a guitar, dude. That's fucking
It's
dope.
fun.
Like I tell people all the time, like you just gotta like with the TikTok things, like sometimes you just gotta like I call it like pressing the buttons. Like you just like fuck, I'm just gonna randomly try this and like see what happens. And like that's
Mhm.
fucking sick. Um, but yeah, like the normalization of it, brutal, brutal. Like everyone, you know, like you, there's like everyone wants to try to like compare, like, oh, I don't drink as much as like the frat dude who's drinking, you know,
Mhm.
6 days a week, or, you know, it's not alcoholism until after college. And like, you're absolutely right about the this is so crazy for me to say. Like, you made a comment at the end, you were um, like, fuck, like that caught up to me, or like I don't even know how I got here, 3 4 day bender, like people say this all the time, and I never fucking believed it. Ever. I never believed it. But literally, it's like I move into a new apartment complex August, or like around like August. It's late August or September. I've like probably like it's like the first week in this like apartment that has like frat houses, like whatever. Everyone's kind of like in a great mood. It's like I have like one new roommate. Everyone's getting along. It's like, oh, we've had drinks for like 5 straight nights, right? It's like first week, like school's next week, and I remember being there, being like, fuck, like I've been fucking, and I didn't drink, like I did not drink that much at all. Like in the years prior, even like being in college for a few years, like I didn't drink that much. There was a time I was like a full year sober because I didn't like drinking. And then like all of a sudden, I fucking blinked. Like I fucking blinked in late August, and I was in fucking mid January, and I've gotten like excessively drunk. Like I've gotten drunk, like very drunk every night for the past like 80 days straight. And I just remember sitting there being like, what the fuck? Like what the
Mhm.
fuck happened? Like what like and it just becomes like so normalized a cycle, and it's brutal.
Yeah. Does it like, do you get like angry when you're drunk? Do you get like sad? Like,
No, no, I'm actually like, you know, thank God that like I'm not like, you know, like I know like a lot of people, people like people fucking drink and get like really angry, or they drink to the point of like blacking out. They cry. Like I'm actually not any of that. I really just like sometimes like when I drink, like if at the time I was like alone, I'd like, you know, be sad, whatever. But most of the time, like I just did it to like relax. Like again, it was just like this constant, like nothing on God's green earth will fucking turn off my brain ever. It's like my brain just fucking with the anxiety is just go, 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 go. And like I've been in psychiatry, I've been in therapy once a week, like my whole fucking life. I've been in psychiatry since I was like 8. You know, I've gone down the list of meds. I've gone every fucking direction you can think of, and it just, you know, I'm doing better now, but you know, it just came to the point where like I would just fucking drink to just shut it off. Like I just wanted to drink to just have my brain be quiet. You know, it was like my only thing that like helped me escape.
yeah, man. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's it sucks that it's not good for you, right? It really does suck.
No, yeah, it's fucking brutal, right? Exactly. Yeah, dude.
That's yeah, I hate that. Like that was me for a while with like when I drink. So when I drank for a while, like especially sophomore year, I'll be like, "Yo, let me get a cigarette," and I'll be like,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah. It
I'll get
fucking
like
devolves.
a fucking Camel Crushes. I sit there with my friends, we'd all be smoking Camel Crushes, and I would look at them, I'd be like, "This it sucks that this shit causes cancer," because I would never
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
stop if it did.
So, right, right,
You know?
right, right, right. Yeah, dude. It goes into like the fucking, oh, dude, all the college kids and drunk cigs, dude. That's
Mhm.
like it's a major, bro. Drunk
Mhm.
cigs. It's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, it does sound like you have a handle on. I mean, all things considered, like the point in your career life, whatever you want to call it, where you're sitting here making videos that rack up anywhere from like 20 to like 120,000 views or millions. I don't know your exact view count. Um, and then probably the amount of fucking stitches I've seen people make of you, of Harry, of whoever. The fact that you are not a drug addict is honestly remarkable.
I,
It's happened.
I appreciate.
It's happened to people for a whole lot less. So
Right,
yeah.
right, right. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that a lot, man. I seriously do. Yeah, man. Just fucking trying to keep my head on straight, you know?
Mhm.
Just day by day. That's what I tell people. Day by fucking day. Everybody wants to plot it out. Like, fuck, how can I handle this for the next few months? What's a week gonna look like? I fucking have gotten so good at just being like, I'm gonna win today. Like, let's fucking win today. If I win today, I can win tomorrow, bro. If I win tomorrow, I can win the next day. Like, I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things on my to-do list today. I have a couple calls, I have a couple meetings, I have a couple videos to make, I have a podcast to make. Like, let's win today, and then fucking I'll focus on the rest of tomorrow. I'll be like, fuck, I want to drink. Fuck, like this really sucks. Like I'm overwhelmed. Cool. All right, we'll see how I feel tomorrow. Like, let's win today, and we'll see how I feel tomorrow. And it's just like if you can get that mentality, it becomes a lot easier.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it, man.
Yeah.
But listen, I want to appreciate you for coming on here. I really do appreciate, or I want to thank you for coming on here.
Yeah, dude, Aiden, I appreciate you fucking inviting me. You've got a great thing going here. Like, seriously, the way you do it is like very impressive. Like,
Yeah,
seriously impressive. I like really like am fucking my advice means nothing, but like I would fucking encourage you to like keep doing this shit because you're great at it, man. You have a thing for this.
thank you.
And
I
fucking sorry for like the rants and all that, but I really appreciate you bringing me on, man. Seriously.
the rants are what I look for, dude. When I
Yeah,
have
right.
people on, this is what I look for. Well, thank you, Chris, again. Seriously.
Yeah. Thank you, Aiden. I appreciate it a lot, man.